guess for speaking to me like that again, better be wearing a cup.
Baby steps.
One break, I'm in up.
Okay, friends, let's everybody take your positions, please. Here we go. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, rolling. Dave!
And
Dave!
Unchained.
welcome to Dave and Dave Unchained, a Van Halen podcast. I'm Dave.
And I'm Dave.
And we are here for episode 35, Dave, and we are well into the end of the year. It is November, and wrapping up with not much news coming from either the band or Wolfie at this point. And are you surprised?
Not at all.
Not at all. It's become a regular holiday tradition that nothing happens this time of year for the Van Halen camp. However, we do have some good news for the podcast. We are now available on iHeartRadio, in addition to iTunes and Spreaker.com, YouTube, as well as Spotify. So you're able to get the podcast in all different forms at this point. We're trying to make it as easy as possible and to get the spread as wide as possible because Dave loves a wide spread.
Here we go. Here we go. But no one's got a wider spread than you, my friend.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. You're always going for the easy layup.
That's right, Slim.
So we are on to Van Halen news. Well, like we said, we don't have much news directly coming from the band, but of course there's always little nips and tucks in all different corners of the world where we get some news from the Van Halen guys. The first one comes, Dave, is a weird piece of news. Came out that in the Werewolf movie from 2010, starring Benicio del Toro, David Lee Roth's voice was used as one of the howls for the werewolf, along with Gene Simmons of Kiss, if you can believe it or not. They brought Dave in for a few different tries and to make some howls, and it was amazing that they actually got him in there. So was that surprising to you to hear this information?
I just thought they would have swiped it off one of the songs or something, you know, like Running with the Devil or something like that. So guess I'm not too surprised from the fact on how he sings.
Exactly. And also Gene Simmons was mixed in there as well, which is kind of interesting. Continuing that Van Halen Kiss connection as it continues to go on. Although Wolfie doesn't have any information about his new album, he has been all over Instagram a little bit. He got very heated again about the fake Eddie Van Halen account. If you remember this, Dave, he calls it the fake dad alert. And this guy who is posing as Eddie is at eddievanhalen.official. There's nothing.
It's anything but official.
It's anything but official, exactly. Eddie's real handle is at Eddie Van Halen, and then you always see the blue check to assure that that's the proper person. He did some sort of weird thing wishing Wolfie a happy birthday, and we all know that Wolfie's birthday is March 16th. I mean, that's widely known by all Van Halen fans. So Wolfie came back saying, "You're just a weird person pretending to be my dad on Instagram for whatever reason, stealing the photos from his actual profile and posting them as if they were your own. And that's sad. You're sad." That man was identified no other than the Red Rocker himself, Sammy Hagar. Oh my, if we can't laugh, we'll cry. So
the clue was he wished Wolf a happy birthday. That's how we knew it was Sam.
Exactly. Everything with Sam is a happy birthday, or
right,
you didn't wish me a happy birthday, or I wish you wished me a happy birthday.
Right.
Yeah. Some other news is interesting. This is probably the most interesting piece of news, is David Lee Roth was sighted in New York on the deck of an outside apartment building taking professional photos, which is interesting. He was in a white-collared button-down shirt, and he was wearing a two-tone pants that were like black and gray, little stripes. I think he had a tie and a jacket. He looked very dressed up, sporting that new haircut that we talked about, which was that sort of, I guess you could call it almost like a white military buzz cut, you know? And it seemed very kind of GQ-ish in a way. And the photographer was rolling around, taking all kinds of photos, and Dave was looking down and pointing down and posing. And this was all posted on Instagram by a Brooklyn hairstylist by the name of Liana Marie. I don't know what this is about. No one indicated. I tried to reach out to her. She never got back to us. Surprise, surprise. It almost appeared like a magazine spread, but it makes me wonder if he's gearing up for something. You know? So that
maybe those Vegas
I don't know.
residency or shows we were talking about.
I don't know, man, but it just seems like, what the hell was that? You know what I mean? I mean, I can't really see, I don't know, David Lee Roth in any magazine, unless he has to be doing something. Dave doesn't really appear in the public or in some sort of magazine or something for no reason at all. Like, he's not that type of performer or celebrity. But,
no, that's true, but he'll do stuff and, never release it. I mean, not like to the extent that Prince did.
Right.
But there's been stuff he's done that.
Oh yeah, he's known. Now, let me tell you, we always talk about the Van Halen treasure trove. There's a ton on Roth's side that is a treasure trove. I know we all talk about the John 5 album, of course, but he's got tons of unreleased material. Tons of stuff that he's recorded at Henson that he never released. I don't know. There's a lot sitting around there, too. So I don't know what that's all about, but that definitely happened. What do you make of it, Dave? What do you think? Where do you think this is coming from?
I hope 2019 is a good year for stuff. Sam's got his album coming out, and maybe Wolf will finally release his album.
Right.
And maybe Dave will do something.
Right.
So maybe Van Halen will tour. Seems like 2019 could be a noisier year than 2018 was for Van Halen and related fans.
Yeah, 2018 was so quiet. But I mean, look, 2016, 17, and 18 have been quiet. I mean, you talk about solid years here of just nothing. Just nothing. So possibly there could be more stuff going on the solo front. We'll have to see. But surprisingly, there is a play, a Van Halen play, Dave, that's coming to Off-Broadway, and it's called Eddie and Dave, and it's running from January 10th to February 10th at the Atlantic Theater Company in New York City. And it is known as the raucous retelling of the rise and fall of Pasadena's most groundbreaking 80s rockers. Interesting enough is, this whole promotion for this, they never say the word Van Halen. And
no, they don't.
They don't say the word Van Halen. They beat around the bush. They show haircuts as pictures. They use, obviously, Pasadena, 80s rockers. They use all these buzz terms to let you know what's going on. But now here's the catch. Dave and Eddie are played by women, which is really surprising. Eddie is played by Amy Statz, who is also the writer of the play, and Dave is played by Megan Hill. And it's apparently told by some MTV VJ. I guess she's sort of the narrator, and she's even a woman. It's Vanessa Aspilla. It says here, it's what happens when the person you need is the one you find most irritating. Boy, doesn't that ring a bell, huh? So
it's why we're still together, Dave.
Yeah, of course. And it's it's directed by Margaret Bourdelin. There's even someone playing Al, which is a woman. And there's someone playing Valerie Bertinelli, who's a guy. So this is going to be crazy, man. I
but
can't...
there's no one playing Mike. The guy gets no respect.
Right, it's unbelievable. No one cares about Mike. It does here in small print. It says Michael Anthony will be played by Michael Anthony. So yeah, Mike doesn't have much to do, so he figured, he'll just jump into the production. It's only a month. Tickets are on sale at the atlantictheater.org, and they're between $56.50 and $66.50. And that is what's going on with that. What do you make of this, Dave? Van Halen off-Broadway play.
Are we going?
I would love to go. I mean,
maybe we'll go. Maybe I may have to venture back to the motherland.
Oh, look at this. We can get you some pizza and bagels. We'll get you all New Yorked up. We'll get you an I Heart New York shirt.
There we go.
And maybe we'll swing over to Times Square to see how the construction's going on the Cabo Wabo.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That would be the perfect captain.
That's right. That's right. So now, next up, during our time when we last spoke to you guys, they had talked about the ballot for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, we all know Van Halen's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and has been for a while now, since 2007, I believe. Dave and I were there the night of. However, one band is not in there, and that is Montrose. And Sammy Hagar, the Red Rocker, the man who can't shut up, is on a campaign to get Montrose on a ballot for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, obviously not this year because that's already set. They haven't announced who's going in yet. That's going to happen, I think, December 8th or 10th or something like that. They have to get the ballots in, and then they announce sometime in the beginning of the year next year. But Sammy is starting to make noise for his old band. He says, without Montrose, there would be no Van Halen. There wouldn't have been Motley Crue. There wouldn't have been Def Leppard. Every band I meet, they're like, the first Montrose record. I think we should be in the Hall of Fame. Then he reflected on his own Hall of Fame induction with Van Halen. He's not in as a solo artist. So he says, it just would have been great if the rest of the Van Halen gang had come. Dave and I would have both participated and done a song each and all that, but you know those guys are hard to get along with. And I think everybody is starting to realize it now. Oh, big words from a big man. What do you make of this, Dave?
Dave, that is like such an uphill battle. They are never going to get in.
No?
There are so many other bands at the front of that line who need to get in. And no offense, I love the first Montrose album.
Right.
I love the second one too.
Right.
But I don't know that Montrose is really like Hall of Fame worthy.
Yeah.
You know, like, they made a great album, and yes, there are a lot of metal bands or rock bands that find that album very influential.
Right.
You know? So,
it's true.
I think, from that standpoint, yeah, but I don't see it happening, to be honest with you. I think the first Montrose album is a very underrated gem.
Yeah,
but I
definitely.
don't think that means that Montrose just walks right into the Hall of Fame because of that.
Yeah, I know. Well, we'll have to see. There's people in there you can kind of question and roll your eyes at if you really pulled out the list and started going down the thing there. But influence is a big deal, so, and a lot of people do cite it as an influence. So I don't know, man. Who knows? And I don't know. You think Sammy will ever get in as a solo artist?
Oh, God, I think Montrose will get in before Sammy will as a solo artist.
Okay, all right.
So, I mean, I'm waiting for him to do that next.
Absolutely, I know. And then once he gets in with Montrose, you say, what about old Sam Hagar? Come on, Ride Rocker, baby. Come on, get us in.
He, in some ways, he's lucky he got in with Van Halen.
Oh, come on. No, there's no way you could not let him in.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and admittedly, we could do a whole podcast on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, sure.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is very inconsistent with how they let in members of a band.
Right.
Sometimes they let in all members. Sometimes they let in some members. And you could make an argument that Van Halen's claim to fame had already been laid out by the time Sammy joined. And even he, at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, was thankful that he got in because they did not have to let him in.
Yeah, but you know what? He drew a lot of big numbers, man. They had a lot of big hits, and he continued the career. That's like saying, should Brian Johnson not have gotten in with AC/DC?
That's a tough call because I would say they really, really, really broke big with Brian when he joined the band.
Right, okay.
Van Halen arguably already reached their peak.
Right.
Or certainly were just as successful with Dave.
Right.
With AC/DC, I mean, you can make an argument about the music if you want, but the Back in Black album, I mean, that's one of the biggest albums of all time.
Right.
So that's
true.
just
True.
That's a slightly different argument.
Of course. Yeah, that is true. But you know what, Dave? You know what I found out? You know who got